Okay, good morning. So today I want to introduce management accounting course. Management accounting. Okay, so basically, management accounting systems provide information specifically for the use of managers within an organization. Okay, within an organization. So there's quite a lot of things to talk about under this course, and it's also an interesting course. It works hand in hand also with financial accounting because the data in these two courses is the same, but it's presented differently. Okay, it's presented differently. So today, allow me to quickly dive in to the topic that I am calling cost classification. So mostly I'll be making tutorials on the parts that I feel I need to explain for somebody to get a concept and to understand. And then I'll also be sending the PDF notes which will explain my tutorials in details. Okay, so just be ready and on point to follow through my tutorials. Okay, so I want to talk about cost classification today. We have direct costs. Okay, we have direct costs and indirect costs. Direct costs and indirect costs, and then let me put up something like a table which will explain in detail what I'm trying to mean here. So we have materials, then we're going to have labor, and then we are going to have expenses here. Okay, expenses like this. So then here we have direct materials, we have direct labor, and then we have direct expenses. Then this we also have another component of the indirect material, indirect labor, and then indirect expenses. Indirect expenses. Okay, so this is the indirect part. You discover that they make up something that we call overheads. Okay, this is the indirect stuff, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses make what we call overheads, and then the direct part here makes what we are calling direct costs. Okay, direct costs, and then these are our descriptions. These are the items which are incurred in the total cost of an item. Total cost of an item. So let's say you want to manufacture a plastic cup. This is an example, my example. You want to manufacture a plastic cup. A plastic cup. Okay. You need what are you going to need for you to manufacture this plastic cup? You will need one, a plastic. Okay. You need plastic, which we can classify as a direct material. Direct material, and then the person to work on this cup, if it's one person, one person, the person who's going to be directly involved in the manufacture of this cap is what we are calling direct labor. Okay, then direct expenses. Direct expenses, we are going to have, maybe you need some fluid or oil, or anything else. That's what we are calling direct expenses. You may also need maybe water when manufacturing the cap, maybe water for cooling the fluid, for cooling the melted plastic, because you need to melt your plastic and then shape it in whatever shape. Okay, so all these, they are falling under direct expenses. Okay, so basically this is the classification of the materials, or of the classification of costs that we'll be talking about: the direct materials, direct labor, direct expenses, which fall under direct costs, the indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, which falls under overheads. So direct labor, I've explained, that's a person who's going to be directly involved in the manufacturing of that component that you are manufacturing, of that product actually. Okay. And then the indirect materials, I've also explained. The indirect labor, this can be other people. Let's say the supervisors who will just be monitoring you work. Those that will fall under indirect labor. And then indirect expenses, I've explained also, which is the fluid, oil, or water, in the case where we want to manufacture a plastic cap. Okay, this is just my introduction tutorial. As we move on, I'm sure it will make more sense and more meaning, and there are more calculations to come under this topic, and it's a very, very important